folks, it's Sven again, and today I want to show you some things that I learned about tremolo, because one of you guys asked me to do a tutorial on tremolo, and I think it's a very important technique because it not only is it very common in gypsy jazz to perform tremolo in various situations, but also it helps you to develop a higher pace, the ability to play higher paces in the right hand. So actually a tremolo, for example, can happen in gypsy swing. Let's say you have a song like Les Yeux Noirs, Dark Eyes, and then you want to have an introduction. And it happens a lot that, for example, the band is playing tremolo and the violin play out. Stuff like that, you know, and so on. And this happens a lot. And so the thing is that the technique itself is, of course, it's very difficult to achieve, because when you're adult, and this is something that I did wrong when I was younger, because I started late with like 12 years or something like that. And so I was afraid of doing it wrong, and I was afraid of the crappiness that, you know, comes up when you try tremolo without the ability to do it. So, and you gotta get free from that, you know. It has a lot to do with the ankle of the wrist somehow. You can try several tricks, you know. When you're absolutely new to tremolo, let me say that it can also help to not practice the gypsy technique first, but for example, pick one note and try to achieve it with a fixed wrist, try to achieve it with a loose wrist, and really try to play as fast as you can, and then it will show you, doing so will show you how your wrist has to be, in which position and stuff. And so with chords, it's the same. In the beginning, you're just doing like, I can't do it. Maybe you can make a circle movement. That helps some guys, you know. It's not working for me, but for some guys it's working. I talked to a lot of guys who learned it that way. That means doing little circles, for example, like this. So, and once you get into the world of tremolo, you should do it not only with chords, but also with two notes, with two-note chords, and of course with single notes. You can start with single notes. It's also a very important technique. When you do, for example, an open string, now my begin was very sloppy, and then after a certain time, the tremolo should become your highest pace, actually, you know, because what starts like sometimes after a while it will get more precise, and then you can even perform some licks with it or something. And it not only helps you in performing the technique itself, it also helps you in playing better rhythm guitar, because no matter if it's gypsy swing or some other styles, some of the paces that are played require sometimes a 16th movement for doing fills or something. You know, when you, for example, playing rhythm guitar, stuff like that, or in the bolero where you just play. This stroke roll is very close to the tremolo technique. And so it is very hard to teach it, because actually you just have to do it and practice it. And my only advice, which will, I think, help you, is to do it. Also, it sounds shit in the beginning. This is very important, that you free yourself from that kind of perspective. Another thing is that once you practice with a certain technique, for example on the electric guitar, and you play it with a fixed wrist all your life, it is very difficult to change it, because you already feel comfortable with the way you play. Let's say, you know, somebody plays like, and you don't want to go and change it to a loose wrist and give up all the technique that you gathered before. You know, you want to stick to your fixed wrist and playing, for example, with some of that movements that are not so, you know, that do not bring you advantages in playing fast. And this is the same with tremolo. A lot of punk guitarists or metal guitarists can perform it because they started with their punk bands early, and when they were like 12 years old, they didn't give a fuck, and after a while of just playing and getting better, it got more and more tight. And so the time they became adults, without even knowing it, they practiced it the right way, and then are sometimes able to perform that. And a lot of jazz players, like me, when I started late, I couldn't do it, and I always felt bad about it, because tremolo is an important technique, and playing fast rhythm guitar is an important thing. You know, you gotta play fast paces, because in gypsy swing especially, lead players want to play you know, at high pace. They want to play, you know, fast tunes actually. So you need to be able to perform that, and tremolo is really a good way to lose the wrist and to achieve that. So this is like only a little lesson, and I hope it helped you anyway. So there's just the only thing you can achieve it is do it, you know, and start with everything, you know, try to play whole chords with tremolo, you know, like it happens so often, for example, in the ending of a tune, like you got the tremolo, stuff like that happens a lot, you know, and you can even use it when somebody's playing rhythm, and as a lead player you go like, stuff like that. So go ahead, practice the tunes and try to tremolo the whole way through. You know, you might even want to do it like you pick a tune like minor swing where you know the chords very good, and you try, you know, I mean, don't get hurt here, but you try, for example, if somebody's playing rhythm for you, take one of my play-alongs, for example, play along to a minor swing, and then you really try to do the following thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Stuff like that, you know. As long as you can get it, or maybe you start like, and the trick number one, don't get confused when it sounds crappy in the beginning, you know. For me, still sometimes after, you know, whenever I practice stuff, it sounds crappy, you know. This is a normal way of evolution, I think, of evolving on the instrument. And I mean, even, you know, it never ends. Even now I feel sometimes when I play that there are a lot of things that I really need to improve, and I think the best way to do it is just step aside and don't feel something like vanity, or, you know, don't be afraid of playing wrong, and don't be afraid of exploring new techniques. I mean, changing my right hand position over the years, over and over again, to achieve higher skills helped me a lot. And I know that it takes really motivation to do it. You know, I was like, it took me like when I discovered gypsy jazz, the first year of discovering the chords, I was studying music back then, like in 2005 or something like that, I don't know. I was studying music and I was already a jazz guitar player, so I had my trio and I played like avant-garde or contemporary jazz, stuff like that. And of course I played with a fixed wrist, and all my approach to the instrument was completely different, and I felt that I don't want to give that up. I wanted to, you know, keep my playing up the same way that I played before. But always when you explore new things, you will gain so much, you know, and the tremolo is exactly that, you know. You can use it everywhere in your playing, and it's very important to master it, you know. Even like, for example, when you play like for stuff like that, all the rhythm guitar thing, you know, it's so important. It will improve the whole thing, and also your solo. It will lose your wrist somehow and give you the ability to play faster solos. And yeah, I can only say, do it. It's really worth it. And try it with the whole range, covering chords, playing single notes, you know. Try, and then when it comes to speeding up your single note playing, Also, a very good point, and I can tell you that because I was not a fast player. Still, I'm not a fast player like, for example, Stochelo or Joshua. I'm really struggling with technique every day. And one thing that I learned is that you won't get there with the metronome. It's really, there are some YouTube videos saying the same, and they're really right. It's like you have to reach it from both sides. From, you know, of course, speeding it up with the metronome, but first of all, via tremolo and, you know, changing the position, learning how you can get as fast as possible. And one good exercise is before you start playing scales and try to speed them up with some kind of alternate picking, that won't work so well. You know, there is a limit, and you will never break that limit, and you will struggle and spend years on it. And, you know, for just a few beats, it's not the way it's working. Better is, you know, trying to improve your ability to pick quick notes with the right hand, and then you will bring in the left hand. This is how it works. It's better, you know, just like. Exercises like that. You can even do, because somehow while playing fast, the problem is that your legato speed is not the same than your picking speed. And there I can recommend exercises. You take the spider exercise, and what you do is, for example, you're just playing in 2 notes legato, then come in with the pick. Ah, now it was sloppy, see? And this is still very difficult also for me. And, you know, when I play solo, of course, I stick to all the licks that I can do. But this is like a basic exercise that you can do to improve your picking speed. And this is from a guy that, as I said, I'm not very talented for technique. I had, for the one that I got, I really had to fight for it. And the problem was more often my right hand, as you probably already noticed. Even if you click that video, probably you have the same problem, you know, because the left hand, in my opinion, is easier to train. You know, it doesn't take so many years to be able to perform to a legato lick, like stuff like that, you know. Of course, it has to be in time, and then it's difficult as well. But the left hand is very easy to train, actually, because you're also learning all those scale and arpeggio patterns, what trains the left hand every day. And we pay too little attention to the right hand, which is actually the motor of the music, you know. And so I hope that helped you somehow, because it's a very difficult topic for a lesson, and I hope it helped you anyway. And the next videos that I'm going to do is again some proper chords videos, so hope you're looking forward to it. See you soon. Bye.